It's Monday morning and 10:15 a.m. I've done all my normal nonsense this morning, got the kids ready, got them to nursery, and now we're going to dive right in. The first thing, on the list, we need to send an email. I need to get more organised with emails as well. That's a big thing. That's something that I'm prioritising. Pricing. Everybody who sells something has a price, right? And something that is scary to fellow entrepreneurs is putting your pricing up. And it's not as bad as you think. It's not. It seems daunting. It seems scary. You think, I'm going to put my pricing up and everyone's going to stop buying. People will now look and see me for who I really am and realise this product's not worth that. It's not true. If you've got a good product, which, let's be honest, that's the purpose of e-commerce, sell good things. If you've got a good product, putting your prices up is... I can't even explain how easy it is and how much you're overthinking this. We've just put our prices up. I say we've, I mean I've, because Mergs is only me. I own and operate Mergs. I'm doing it again. And so pricing. Our pricing just went up about 10%. But here's the thing. Our knee sleeves, when they first launched back in 2017, 2018, they came out, they were £35 a pair. And ever since then, they've just gone up by £5 or £10 now and again, now and again, now and again. And now they are £65 for a pair of knee sleeves, which on the surface you could say, wow, that's expensive. But here's why that makes sense. One, people are buying more than just the product. With that comes the guarantees. We offer a 12-month guarantee on all knee sleeves. You can literally order the wrong size, abuse them for 6 months, and then they split, and we'll send you some more. Like, that's part of the cost. That's how that is covered. You can buy cheaper knee sleeves. Of course you can. But when they break after 6 months, that brand will tell you to jog on and go find someone else. Another thing is to keep the same quality. It's not like, suddenly Mergs has doubled its profits. It's like, no, things just get really expensive. All through COVID, the shipping prices went up, material prices, labour costs, all of this. Royal Mail's delivery charges, fulfilment centres, advertising is not as effective. Everything is going up in price, and I wish it didn't, but it is. So to maintain your margin, you have to go up in price. One thing I really despise is lowering the quality of the product to keep the price the same. The product quality is rigid. It is fixed. It is excellent. There is no way to make this worse. None of this shrinkflation stuff. So, don't be scared about putting your prices up if you can back it with a good product. And it's really funny because I only got a message recently from somebody in my DMs saying about how Merg's knee sleeves are considered quite expensive in her gym. She said that other people are talking about the price of them and the cost. But she sent me a message to say thank you because they were really good and they've looked after her for a long time. And I was like, wow, I've never looked at it from that side. There's nothing wrong with being a brand that's aspirational. What's wrong with that? That's the reason that Mercedes can exist. Are Mercedes cars literally twice as good as the Nissan alternative? No, they might be 10 or 20% better. But instead of paying $25,000, you might be looking at $45,000 for a small to mid SUV. That's just the way of the world. And I just feel like it's so much easier to come in and be a very good product at a premium price than compete and race to the bottom. Don't race to the bottom, I promise. There's nothing good at the bottom. Nothing down there is good because quality goes, profits go. Also, customers are harder to negotiate with and deal with. People that have scrimped and saved and shopped around to only spend the lowest amount possible need maximum value for money. And people that can afford to buy things, if they get 12 months in and they realise, I'm not really using these, I've grown out of them, they're more inclined to come and buy another pair that fit in the size they need rather than make a warranty claim or try and get around it some other way. So don't be scared of putting your prices up, but just make sure the product that you offer is fantastic. And that can be a digital product, that could be you as a service. You can, whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, just make sure the product's top tier. That's starting Monday mornings off with a real pro tip. So what I'm doing this morning is going through here, and there's loads of products that need discontinuing. Because we use, like I say, I'll keep saying we, there's no we, it's only I. Because we use a third-party fulfillment centre. I get all the stock from Merg, send it off to this fulfillment centre. They keep tabs of everything. They store it all. They dispatch it all. They do everything, right? And because that's the setup, you pay for the amount of bins and the space that you use. Because imagine if you've got 1,000 of an item that keeps coming in and you're filling up this bay and then eventually it's empty, they're not going to suddenly be like, he's not sent anymore, just chuck some things in there. They're like, no, that's reserved for you. It's normally full. You have to pay to keep that. You have a base fee, almost like a standing charge for your gas and electric. You will have to pay a base fee to keep that bay, keep that slot, because that's space they could sell to someone else. And there's some products on here, like these skipping rope cables. So we've got a 2.5mm cable in red. There are literally 6 in stock. Like, only 6? I mean, we don't sell many cables at all. Genuinely, this stock is probably a year or two old, because at the time I was more online with, let's offer more options. Sort of give the illusion of choice. I've always been a man that thinks the illusion of choice is magnificent. Here's a quick story. I used to work at a place in engineering, and I, as the apprentice, on the Fridays would go around with the sandwich list. I would ask everybody what they wanted as a sandwich. They would give me the money. I'd go to the shop. I'd buy it all. Right, easy. Every time I'd walk in, and to the same lady in accounts, I'd hand her the menu. I'd say, what do you want today? And she'd say, 1 sec, I'm just going to have a quick look. And she'd be reading through this menu. There'd be things like hamburgers. And I'm like, it's 9 a.m. Clearly that's not an option. You're not going to get that. You're probably going to get exactly what you get every single week, which is a well-done bacon sandwich. But she liked to just look through the 30 or so other things. And this is only a cafe, like round the corner. This is not going to some extravagant menu. Like, everything on it's under £4. Like, what are you even looking at? And then she'd read things out to me like, look at that, John. Ham and pineapple. And in my head, I'm like, I don't care. What are you having? Do you want the same as normal? And she's like, yeah, well done bacon sandwich, please. I'm like, but that's a great example of why some people like the illusion of choice. You can have a product, you can have 20 versions, and you'll probably sell 80% of your bestseller, and the other 19 will just hang around. And that's what I'm trying to do. There's too much diversity in the different things. So we've got, in fact, I'll just show you. So there. So there's these. So there's the black cable, 2.5mm, and it's a single one. And then there's a 2-pack. 2.5, 2-pack, 2.5, 2-pack. So that's what that is. And all of these are the exact same thing, apart from them. They're 3.4, so they're a bit thicker. But all of these, same product. What? Like, why am I offering so many versions of a product that we don't really sell much of? So we're not. These are all discontinued now on the website. They're all going to get liquidators. I'll probably bring some cables back, but only black ones. Black ones in different diameters. I'd rather offer different version of a product, so I'd rather offer different thicknesses of cable in black than offer one cable in different colours. Because the function is more important than the form, right? If that cable is too thick and doesn't fit in your skipping rope, it doesn't matter what colour it is, it's useless. So I'm trying to just maintain that as well. Another thing I've learned, here's one. T-shirts and clothing. If you don't do clothing, dipping your toe in the water for clothing, not recommended. I'll be honest, there's so many clothing brands. I think it's just due to it being such a saturated market. There are so many clothing brands across the world because every person on earth wears clothes. There's such a low barrier to entry. Anybody can slap a logo on a t-shirt and then claim it as a new product. But is it any different? It's not got any unique selling point other than it's got your branding on it, which it has its place, fine. And if you're a big enough company, I'm sure McDonald's could sell t-shirts and some people would buy a t-shirt from McDonald's. But at the same time, McDonald's don't sell t-shirts because they're like, no, we do what we're really good at. Don't try and sell other crap. So I've been trying to do that as well, just cut back on a few areas. So there's quite a few bits discounted on the website for the first time, like discounted to go, discounted. So they're selling out steadily. Inventory management, it's tricky, man, it's tricky. But we'll come back to that. We'll go full circle because I've been struggling to manage my inventory for the last, how long have I been doing Mergs? 7 years? Not literally. I'm being hyperbolic. I'm exaggerating it. I don't actually struggle, but it's not very efficient. I do not optimize my inventory well. And a lot of the softwares are just so expensive. But what we're going to do first is throw an email together, get an email sent out first thing, Monday morning. Hopefully people have got the blues from the weekend. Not really, I like people to be happy, but I'm hoping people need things. So yeah, let's get this email whipped up and I'll show you what I come up with. Right, that's it. Progress has been made. So to you chaps out there, if you're making any sort of emails or you're doing your own online business, please get good at Photoshop. And I don't mean good like you can do crazy wizardry, but the way Photoshop has changed how I run my business, it allows so many things. So if you're out there thinking, I need to get better somewhere, but I don't know where, start with Photoshop. Plus, you can get a subscription for like £20 a month. It might even be, I don't know how much it is, but it's not that expensive. I know we all hate Adobe, but they make the best photo editing software. It's fantastic. Anyway, let me show you what we've done. So I'll put you here so you can have a see. In fact, still a bit far away. I'll just hold you by hand, it's much easier. So this is the email. Can't really see much of it. I think we'll start over here. So this is all it in Photoshop. Literally like just blocks. It's honestly, once you know roughly what you're doing, you can just put things like this together so effortlessly. It's amazing. Always, always, always save the PSD. You need to save the PSD. One, you will come back and edit this. You might want this in future. I edit so many of my old emails to keep the style, keep the feel. Also, you might notice a spelling mistake. The amount of times I've saved it as only the JPEG, uploaded it, read it, and gone, oh God, I've put returns and I've spelt it wrong. I've put the R and you know what I mean? Like, just things happen. So save the PSD just as a template and just for reference, because the time you spend on these doesn't need to be spent twice. So anyways, that's that in Photoshop. That makes up, in fact, I'll show you in mobile because you can see more. That's the main banner image. That will all be linked to the wrong place. Let me link all that to the right place. Make sure you link everything to the right place because people click things on emails. They just click on stuff. Also, please optimize it for mobile. Something like 75% or 80% get opened on mobile. That's where you do your selling. People buy on their phones, they read on their phones, they do everything on their phones. Computers and desktops are now an afterthought. But with Klaviyo, you can make them look nice on both, so that's okay. With this one, because I'm not showing an awful lot of the product, and if you saw that and didn't know what that was or what it was for, you might go, what the heck why do I even need that? So I've just put what makes these so special. Just put a few points about, look, they're super sticky, super comfortable, best guarantees. Here's the product, here's a little collage, and that is an email done. All I need to do now is link these. So if I link that, paste, just link these emails, these images at the bottom. Let's make them all clickable. Paste. Right, so that is ready to go. That is ready. Preview and test is always worth doing. It takes 30 seconds. Have a quick look, click on a few links. It's devastating when you send an email out and the links don't work. You feel like such a fool. Title. So, subject line, I've gone for these change everything. I'm trying to generate some intrigue without it being too clickbaity. I don't want it to be like, these will change your life. Yes, it'll change how you train, but it won't change your life. It's not going to, you know what I mean? Like, it changes a little bit. And then for the preview text, that's what I struggled with. I put free full use 60-day returns because that's what we offer. I don't want anyone stuck with a product that thinks, oh, these don't really do for me. Right, so we're going to send that out with no smart sending. So we're sending this out to two different groups. One of them is the 180-day website engaged. So anybody that's done on anything that reports an action. The other one is 180-day email engaged. So anybody that's opened an email, clicked on an email. I used to send emails to my whole list. I would get all of them and I'd send you the emails. And then when people didn't open them, I'd be like, right, we'll resend it, we'll copy it, we'll resend it to non-openers and we'll change the subject line. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you get more opens, great. But at the same time, I was just burning through email sends. Don't send too many emails to people that aren't opening them. That is the definition of a waste of money. So keep your Klaviyo subscription to a minimum. And we're not even going to schedule this for later. That's going. Right, there we go. We're out. So that's the first hour done. Email sent. And that's good. So, moving on. Here's something else that makes my life 10 times easier that you lot can do. And this is not some sort of high-level move. This kind of seems obvious afterwards. You're like, just organise all your files and your folders. This is a hard drive I use for Mergs. Literally, I think it's that one. Like literally everything for Mergs is on there, just in case a computer ever dies. You know, there's that, and then there's that, in case that disappears. And look how I've just organised things. There's just accounts, admin, adverts, Amazon, barcodes, blog, branding. Like, just make stuff easy. If I want branding and logos, I go into branding and logos. You click on fonts, logos, and banners. Click on logos. There you go. Like a lot of different sizes that I've had and saved. And it seems so obvious. It seems so silly. But it's worth its weight in gold. Even this one, it's called Professional Photographs. You click on that and there's every photo shoot we've had done. You know, you dive into one of these, like the newest ones, there's everything, right? And it's like, oh, it just changes your life in terms of finding things. I even have one called Email. So we go into that one. That's all the emails I've done in the last only couple of months in the new current style. So you want to have a look at the most recent email, so say that one. You just click on the Photoshop file, it boots right up, and you'll be able to dive into this, edit it to suit whatever you're working with, and just tinker from there. See, that wasn't even the right one. I've clearly opened the wrong one. That is so funny. Organize your files. Yeah, that's because I can't read. That was called Nobody Cares. That's a YouTube thumbnail. It's in the wrong place. There you go. Organization 101. Do it just like me and just put things anywhere. Ignore all that. But no, in terms of actually organizing stuff, do actually organize all your files. It really will save you so much time. I'm trying to think if there's any more that are like important ones, but it's even like wholesale pricing. I don't know. Just organize your files. It'll make your life easier. Right, what I've got to do now is go and print a few pairs of... In fact, do I need to... Yeah, we're going to go do that. We're going to the post box. We've got to go post some things, exit all this, and print off a label. Right, label time. Just been to the shop. Just need a little bit of keep me going juice. I know it's not good for you, but I don't care. So basically, this is one of those weird days where these are the days that if you don't do them, it doesn't work. And don't get me wrong, when you run your own business and work for yourself, you can have any day off, you just can't have every day off. And it's these ones that are the tricky ones. Working for yourself's not hard when you jump out of bed with enthusiasm in the morning and think, I'm going to attack this, today's my day. But it's hard when you get up and you've got two-year-olds that need to get ready and go to nursery and they want to fight you, and you just haven't slept well, and you know, it's... But something I have to keep reminding myself, not every day needs to be your best. It does not. In the same way that, think of a Formula One driver. In fact, yeah, we will. We'll go this way. Think of a Formula One driver. Do you think they need to do the perfect lap on every lap? Cheers, Mike. Yeah, they don't need to do the perfect lap on every lap. They just need to keep practicing. They need to keep putting the reps in. They just need to keep doing it. They will have laps that are abysmal. They have laps where they crash. They have laps that go incredibly wrong. The car blows up. Like, things go terribly. And that's in Formula One, the highest level of motor racing. So it's easy to sometimes think, oh, nothing's happening. I'm just grinding away at it. I'm chipping away day after day. This is just part of the process. Right, I've got 2 parcels to drop. Give me 5 seconds. Oh, I'll go by a wagon. That's okay. Right, parcels dropped. If you need to drop any parcels off, there are these things called parcel bins. I don't know if you can just about see that red box. Fantastic, fantastic. Stop going to a post office, look it up online, get going to parcel bins. You just print labels off at home and throw them in. But yeah, I've been thinking more and more. I'm like, what if this grind is what it's like to win? Is this what running a business truly is? Because 7 years in, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, this is what I do. And don't get me wrong, businesses scale and they grow and you hire more people, but I've got to the point now where I'm like, I don't think the stress will change. The stress might change when you're 45 and you've a team working for you, or maybe not. The age is just a number, actually. That's totally irrelevant. Forget that, because age is so irrelevant. It kind of just matters where you are in your business journey. And a lot of people forget as well that comparison is the thief of joy. Comparing yourselves to others. subconsciously now, you'll be comparing yourself to me. Because I know I did. When I compare myself up as well. And there's a guy called George Heaton who owns a company called Represent. You might have heard of them, you might not. And we make the wristbands for them. The Represent wristbands are made by me. So that's pretty cool. Nobody knows that. That's a bit of a secret. And I look up at George, they're doing like 100 million a year now, and I think, wow, that is crazy. That's where I want to be. But me of 2 years ago would look up to me now and be like, wow, as if that's what you do for work, as if that's what you're on with. And there will always be someone ahead or doing something different. Even, I don't know where you fall on the political stuff. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not a political guy. But there's been a lot of stuff recently about Trump and Elon Musk. And Trump hasn't got much money in comparison to Elon, and Trump's a billionaire. Trump feels like he's broke, sat next to Elon, because Elon's worth 400 billion and Trump's only worth 6 or 7. And when you take a step back, you think, lads, get a grip. At the end of the day, we're all just doing what we can, right? And comparing yourselves to others and seeing other people. You don't know what their circumstances are either. It's so easy to overlook that. What if your direct competitor had won the lottery and their family won 100 million and dad was like, here you go, son, start yourself a business. They jump in with $500,000 to start a business without knowing how to run a business. That is a recipe for disaster. But from the outside, it just looks like a successful business. They might be selling $1 million a month. But if you're spending 1.5 million a month, what's the point? We can all spend more than we sell. We can all inflate our revenue numbers, but what's the point? And also, you get to a point in life where I know this gets watched by a few younger guys and a few older guys. The less you care, the easier life is. I mean, great example. Why on earth do you think I have a mustache right now? It's not because I feel like it's the pinnacle of sexiness. I mean, it might be. I don't know. But it's more of just an F you, I do what I want. Like, genuinely, I didn't mean to have a symbolic mustache. I'm not that kind of person either. But it was more of a, I don't know, I want a mustache and I don't care what anyone else thinks. And do you know how many people have mentioned this mustache? One. My brother. It was like, that should be illegal. That's what I expect from a brother, right? That's what you expect from a brother or a family member. And if he doesn't say, that should be illegal, clearly he's not paying attention either. So, yeah, do not care what anyone else thinks. It's not worth it. It's really, really not worth it. So, and the beauty of working for yourself is sometimes you just get to tick jobs off while you're doing your errands. No boxes to drop off today. We've just got a few parcels to send. They've gone. We've been to the tip. We've thrown out some rubbish. That's gone. Now we're off out for some lunch. Big fan of a meal deal because it's convenient, it's delicious, and well, it's convenient and delicious. What more do you want? So that's the plan. Going to Asda. We'll do that. And then when we get back, we are going to do some more planning. Some more planning on what else the business needs and where we are going with things. Oh, here's a thing I did recently. I dropped PayPal. I recently removed PayPal from my website completely. And you might think, why? Well, I had a quick look. Last year I spent £800 on PayPal fees. £800? And what did I get for that? And you weigh it up and you think, right, what did I get? Nothing. Like, I understand there's a level of convenience to certain customers that wish to use PayPal. They like to buy things just from logging in and clicking a few buttons. But at the end of the day, it normally debits straight from your debit card. It normally makes a direct charge. And at this point in time, I'm just trying to think, would someone like Gymshark offer PayPal? No. Do Amazon offer PayPal? I don't think so. Probably not. Maybe, but probably not. And if they do, they get preferential terms. They're not paying the same silly fees that I am. And after weighing it all up, I was like, no, you've been paid £800 last year. That's like £80 a month, £70 a month for a PayPal subscription. If that was a subscription to get access, sorry, I'd have just cancelled it. I'd be like, no, we're done. I'm not paying you for the privilege of that. So I've taken it off. We'll see if it affects sales. My guess is no. No, probably not. Because at the end of the day, if I go onto a website and I try and pay a certain way and they don't have it,
look, if I'm at the point where I'm trying to give you money, I'm not really fussed how that money gets to you. It normally starts with my convenience, and then after that, it's like, oh, you don't take PayPal, fine. I'll use my card. Or they'll use ClearPay, or they'll use Klarna, or they'll use another method of payment. I'm pretty sure everyone will be fine. I'm pretty sure this is one of those where I don't think we'll see a single drop of difference. Nothing will change. We're just saving money. And it's weird because there's things like that you don't tend to notice that can just eat away at money. That's £800 paid in fees. And don't get me wrong, that if we looked at the Stripe payments, who was their main processor on Shopify, we'd have paid them thousands in fees. But PayPal's fees were just 25 or 30% more. For every £60 purchase, Shopify would take, I think it was £1.47 in transaction fees, and PayPal would take £1.90 something. So they were taking 50p more per order. And on the surface, you think, oh, that's not too bad. You know, some months. But even then, you think, what if we got to a point where we were doing 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 orders a month? That's a fortune. So yeah, bye-bye PayPal, adios. And do you know what? That's reminded me, that's inspired me to go home and just have a reset on any outgoing payments. It's so easy, especially with Shopify. I love the fact that it's so well integrated with all these apps. You can just jump in and click these apps on and off and turn them on and do what you need. But it's also so easy to think, oh, that one's only $10 a month. And then in 12 months, you've got 12 of them, and all of a sudden it's $120 a month. And it's like, that's more than we need to spend. So, yeah, we're going full circle. The goal, and this sounds bizarre, is to try and be a really big small business. And what do I mean by small business? I don't mean the fact that our order volumes are not silly and, you know, we're not doing 1 million a month. I don't mean stay small in terms of revenues and profits. I mean, stay like a small business from everything you think of a small business. What do you think of when you think small business? You think personal touch. You think someone that cares. You think small team. Maybe even being able to contact the owner, like me. Sometimes people are like, oh, wow, you know, I managed to speak to the guy that owns the place. And in my head, I'm like, well, there was no one else, so I guess that's that's that. And I just really like the feel of a small business. And I think people do too. It took me so long to attach my face and be on camera, not because I was embarrassed about, I don't know, there was two things. One of them was I didn't want to publicly attach myself to the brand, and I don't know if that came from some sort of deep-rooted fear of, I don't know if that came from some deep-rooted fear of if something went wrong, I was personally responsible, which I am. I take full responsibility for everything Merg sells and does. But as well, there was the camera confidence. That took quite a while as well. It took a while to get going on that. Anyway, I've lost my train of thought. But this is what happens, isn't it, when you talk and you're busy doing things at the same time. So we'll circle back and we'll pick up on this in the near future. Here's one more thing before I forget. Procrastination. It's like a curse. And it makes things really hard to start. I struggle immensely with starting most things. No, not everything. Not everything, no. Just quite a few things. Like work, put that way. Like work in the mornings and jobs that I build up in my head to be more of a... Oh, I thought the mic weren't recording. To make it feel like more of a big deal than it is. And there's a phrase of eat the frog or eat that frog. I don't really know the book or the tale or anything to do with it, but I know it's out there being like, just do it. Just do it. Get into that horrible job. And as I've realised, it's never that bad. It's not. I have upset myself many times thinking, oh, I don't want to do this. It's going to be awful. And then you do it and you're like, wow, what a relief. And another thing, don't worry about things twice. Stop it. I do this again. I will be pre-worried or apprehensive about how I think something's going to turn out. And then when I do it, there's only two outcomes. Either A, it is as I thought, and then I can be apprehensive and worried for a purpose, or it's not a problem. So either I worry once, very justifiably, which was what requires for that task, or I'm just worried twice. Why? Don't. And it's easy for me to say, oh, don't worry about things. But do remember, I am just a normal person. I am just like you. If you're watching this and you're probably 20 minutes in, you clearly have an interest in business. You clearly are on the same wavelength. You have not just clicked on this video and thought, ooh, I wonder what this is about, because you probably didn't get this far. But just try and dive into stuff. I saw something once, and this is a really strange phenomenon of why, air quotes, dumb people can be successful. And it all boils down, long story short, to people that don't consider things and don't overthink things like you or I may dive in with less regard for what might or might not happen. And I admire that. I look at that, I think, wow, yeah, there is a blissful ignorance to thinking, who cares, let's do it. And don't get me wrong, it's not to say that all people that throw themselves into everything are successful and wealthy and things work out. No, let's be honest, there's only a small percentage, a vocal minority. And yeah, I just admire that ability to throw yourself into anything with disregard, because that's really hard. And I've been trying tremendously to be more fearless and more courageous and more brave, because bravery, this is an Alex Hormozi quote, it's a mile wide and an inch deep. That's it. Like, my wife went for an operation recently and she was so incredibly brave. But in reality, you break it all down, and this doesn't take anything away from what she did, because she's done amazingly well. But, like, what's the hard part about an operation? Because you're not doing the op, you just need to turn up. Is the hard bit just turning up? The hard bit might be where they stab that thing in the back of your hand. This is funny, I always get catheter and cannula mixed up. And I believe a cannula is what goes in your hand, and a catheter is what you pee from. So bad thing to get mixed up. But bravery, it's one of those things where it looks impenetrable. You look at a task and you think, wow, this is hardcore, this is going to be a real challenge. And you've just got to be brave for 10 or 15 seconds. That's it. Like doing a bungee jump. Yeah, I've never done a bungee jump, but you just have to be brave for the jump. The rest of it takes care of itself. You don't have to be nervous about getting back up. You've just got to do the jumping bit and everything will go from there. So if you take anything away, just be braver. Pretend you're braver. That's worked for me a treat over the years, pretending to act like somebody who is brave. What would a brave person do? They'd be like, F this, I'm in. And I look at that, I think, I'll pretend to do it like that, just this once. And then when it works out all right, you think, wow, yeah, that worked too bad. Anyway, lunchtime. I'm going to head inside, have some lunch, and then we're going to plan my afternoon. We're going to try and make this useful. It's 12:01. I've been setting myself a lunchtime recently. It really helps break the day up and give me this mental structure to the day. So, yeah, let's hop inside, eat. Once again, meal deal job. Packet of crisps, a wrap, and a Lucozade, 0 sugar. So let's dive inside and we'll come back with more business, and I'll show you what we're doing later on. Here's a strange truth that nobody seems to mention as well. Everybody on the internet seems to be like, go, 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 all the time. Like, if they're not working, they're wasting their time. No time for Netflix, no time for a piss. No, work all day, work all night. There's some idiots that pretend they've got 3 work days in one work day, because each work day is 8 hours, and they kind of just brag about how they don't do anything but work and they never see their family and kids, and it's kind of sad. So I'm trying to find a balance between working for yourself to make more money. At some point, that's what we want, right? We want to take advantage of the unlimited earning potential for comfort, for more experiences in life, for some people, things, just to make it so they can show to others. Like, look at this Lamborghini I borrowed for £800 for a day. I'm not here for that, but some days it's hard to just keep going. And now it's 1:46. So I've only been at this 3 or 4 hours now. And like I said earlier, today is just a day where I'm like, I can't be arsed. This is really challenging. I'm sat here looking at 2 computer screens, just rubbing my head, rubbing my eyes,
just been a bit lost. And the thing is, you're allowed to be lost. You're allowed to know what you're doing, not know what you're doing next, right? It's just, it's hard because we've got this desire to get into this and to push, go, go, go. But at the same time, you just can't. And if you could, that'd be one thing, but it's kind of like a professional athlete. They train really hard and then they rest, train really hard, rest, rather than trying to train medium hard all day. And you understand the comparison there. And I used to feel really guilty about this. I'd be sat here, I'd be like, it's mid-afternoon on a Monday. Why aren't you doing anything? Why are you not feeling productive? Why are you not focused? Well, I'm just a human like you. We're all just trying our best, right? And part of running your own business is discovering a lot about yourself, you know? And I'm even a big believer in that your capacity to work and get things done increases over time as you work and get things done. And, you know, I had best part of 6 months off this year, from January to July-ish. And I say off, it weren't off. It was down to about 5 hours working a week. So what you've seen today was maybe about a week's worth of work. Depression's a real thing. So is anxiety. And they don't work well. Well, I was going to say in business, but in life, like, they're not fun. So, I don't know. This is me trying to tell you that you shouldn't feel bad about taking a break and having half an hour off. Because if I go away now and just sit downstairs and watch YouTube for 30 minutes and get some water and have a little reset, that might be enough to get me back into the zone to get the next 2 or 3 hours cracked off. So don't be afraid to take these temporary pauses. You don't have to grind through it like you're walking through mud. Sometimes it's better to just chill out, let the mud dry a little bit, and then just I'll go for a run on that hard mud later. Weird analogy, but that's the best my brain could come up with. And yeah, I like doing these in one take as well. There's no clips get recorded. There's nothing that gets filmed on purpose. Like, don't get me wrong, I might sometimes put a camera in the boot of the car while I'm putting a box in. But other than that, there's going to be no cuts, because this is what it's really like. This is what you'll have to deal with. This is running your own business. This is the internal struggle that a lot of influencers pretend doesn't exist. They pretend like they just know what they're doing. They've got this mission, this focus, they're on track. And whether they are or not, it makes no difference. But there is a version of reality where you will get stuck. You'll come to dead ends and you'll have to turn around and be like, let's try something different. Because don't forget, yes, I've started businesses in the past, but I've never had a business get to this point. This is the first business I've worked for myself. Yes, I've been doing the same business for 7 years, but it's the first time I've done this to this scale. So I'm still learning at the same time. And everybody's business is different. It's okay, Alex Hormozi telling you about X, Y, and Z from his mystery, mythical businesses. Different customers, different people, different environment, different product. Like, everything's different. It's completely different. You know, it's unrelated. So yeah, don't be so harsh on yourself, because I am. And I'm sat here now telling you not to be harsh on yourself, and I'm 50-50. I'm actually 51% go and have a break because you need it. But there's 49% of me going, you're lazy, you need to crack on, you've got things to do, are you taking this business seriously or not? But there's the part of my brain where I'm like, no, I need the rest. Because like I say, I could get through this, but is it worth it? Is the quality going to be there? Do we want quantity or quality? There's places for both, but this afternoon, it's not a quantity day. I am banging out jobs left, right, and centre. So we shall have a reset. We'll have a break and try and do something different. Sometimes I've said this in videos in the past. Just because I'm mentally stuck right now and can't get engaged in what I need to, doesn't mean there isn't other things. Like, I've got loads of stock and inventory in my garage that needs sorting, needs to go to fulfillment. Like, let's get all that sorted. So we're just going to have half an hour off. We'll come back at 2:30, and it's 9 minutes to 2, so that's 39 minutes. Not that we're a stickler for numbers, although I have a bit of the OCDs. And yeah, we're just going to trial this, have a little break, and return. Let's do that. Come on. I'll be honest, I didn't get very far on my break. This is bad timing. Yeah, downstairs, sorting dishwasher out, because all I can think is,
Why do we do this? Why do we put ourselves through this hardship? And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, for the freedom, okay? But it's almost like I don't allow myself to enjoy that freedom now. It's almost like it has to be later. This is what I'm working for. It's to be able to be in my own kitchen at home at 2 p.m. This is incredible. And it's so easy to overlook simple things like this as you're trudging along. I drop everything at the moment. It's so easy to just forget what the point is. Why do we do this? I am so guilty of not enjoying the process sometimes. I'm very good at grinding away and I'm very good at sticking to things, but you've got to keep it in sight. Part of my pay is my time. I own my own time. I could be anywhere in the country right now and it wouldn't make a lick of difference. That is freedom, right? Is that not what part of the goal is? Because the more I think about it, it is for me. You know, I'm not going to be working 80 hours a week so I can make 20 grand a month, so I can have 5 supercars in an octuple garage somewhere. Why? You're working 80 hours a week. Like, at some point, why do we do this? So, yeah, it just took me a minute to come to that conclusion. And like I say, we've just got to remember why we're doing this. What's the point? What's the purpose? This is not just for something to do. This is to try and improve our lives. And if being at home, being able to get jobs sorted through the middle of the day isn't an improvement on your life, I don't know. Well, maybe we've got different goals, but yeah, it's time for a sit down, I think. Right, change of plan, fellas. I wanted to do something. My mind won't let me sit. Oh, sorry, I can't physically sit still, but my mind needs to switch off. So what nobody knows about me is that I went to the gym between 5 and 7 days a week I've been going now for about 12 or 13 years, minus the last 3, because I had twin girls. And it threw me off big time. I didn't have the time, and then I left my job to work for myself, so I didn't have the time. I didn't make the time. I didn't allocate enough of my day. We all get the same time. I just didn't allocate enough of it to fitness. And I think that's been quite a detriment to both my physical and mental health. I don't look unfit, but God, I am. I run upstairs and I'm out of breath. I do prefer lifting weights. I'm not really a cardio queen, but I like to just... It's really funny because there's a friend of mine who cottoned that nickname many years ago because all he would do was cardio. And that's fine. Look, if your goals are cardio, please dive right in. But at the time when there were a group of us all lifting weights and doing more bodybuilding style stuff, and, you know, looking back, probably more used to long-term health cardio, but, well. So yeah, no cardio, but not because I hate cardio, because... Look, I'm only going to the gym for 30 minutes. That's it. We'll do 30 minutes, if not 40 at a push. This was a last-second decision. I used to get stuck on this notion of, it's the OCD, having a plan. So I'd have a plan for the day, and I'd be doing this, I'd be doing that. The amount of times I've said, no, I can't go to the gym, and Lucy, my wife's been like, why? And I've said, it's because I haven't drunk enough water. And there's a weird part of me that feels incomplete if I'm not correctly prepared for something. This really does border autism. I think OCD and autism are like cousins. And this has held me back with a lot of things in life. I have this mentality that if I'm not going to give it 100%, I can't give it any percent, because that's not efficient. That's a waste of time. It needs to be optimized. If you're not going to train 5 days a week, why train at all? It's terrible advice. Don't abide by that. And I'm 29. I only got the OCD diagnosis like 12 months ago, and I'm like, that's why. It does make sense, and I don't have to 100% something or not do it at all. You can find a happy medium of, I go to the gym 3 days a week. Like, yes, I'm not going to be the next Mr. Olympia, nor do I want to be. So what's the problem? This is more for my own mentality and mental health than it is to be physically stronger. I'll be honest, I am absolutely strong enough to handle anything I need to lift in my real life. It doesn't take that much strength to carry all the shopping bags, or to pick up a Christmas tree in the box and put it through a tiny hole into the loft. Like, there's things that I never think, wow, if I were only just a bit stronger. I mean, so it's not even that. It's just me and my strange mentality that I'm trying to snap myself out of. Similarly to that, though, I've been doing a lot of work recently with myself on the beliefs that we hold and why we hold them. And it sounds a bit philosophical, and I guess it is. I don't really want to say I'm diving into philosophy, because some of the stuff that I've read, it's just too deep. I don't need to be into all that. But at the same time, we do grow up with a set of beliefs. If you grew up in a household where your parents were married and all they did was shout at each other, you might grow up with the belief being like, not sure I want to be married. I don't want to be shouted at all the time. Because that's just what you've seen and the exposures that you've had. At the same time, if you get brought up in a family where your dad or mum is the primary earner and they're always having struggles with money, like they need to work more, they need to get more jobs, they hate it, don't spend this and that, and you'd grow up being like, wow, money's scarce and really brings out the worst in people. That's not true either. So I'm trying to go through, not literally line by line, but as these things come up, just try and change these beliefs, because they're not true. They're almost things I've conditioned myself to believe. You can go to the gym 1 day a week if you want for fun. I, for some reason, didn't think that was an option, or was like, nope, it's either 5, 6, 7 days or don't bother. No, you can go to the gym once a week. So that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to just put affirmative action in place to actually get more done. I'm trying to just be braver, and not brave in the sense of, ooh, is John scared of heights? Can he do a bungee jump? Just, why not? And that ties into the mustache. I guess that's where the mustache comes from. The mustache of bravery is what it can be called from now on. So, right, let's get parked up, off into the gym. Same again, I've never filmed in the gym. I've always been self-conscious. I've always been concerned about other people's thoughts and opinions. So, let's go in with... Perfect. Let's go in with the mindset of, oh, it's full of people, I don't want to film here, and just try and do my own thing. It doesn't impact anyone else. I'm not going to be upsetting anyone. I'm not even going to be one of them influencers that sets up a tripod. No. Nobody's going to notice this camera, because I don't want to look like a super twat. But that ties into other people's thoughts and opinions. Anyway, I'm going to go work out, and we'll reconvene after to see if I got any footage, see if I could be brave enough, just to show you what I'm doing. Right, boys, we did it. Mission accomplished. I did a thing. And to most people that go to the gym frequently, they're looking at this going like, you only went to the gym. Yeah, but when you break a habit that you've done for like 10 years and have 3 years off, it feels like you're never going to get back to it. But it turns out you can't be further from the truth. You can just carry on whenever you're ready, you know? This isn't like a relationship where you broke up with someone and you can't just pop back in. It's not like when you sell a house. Of course, you can't go back around and have one more shower. But when you've stopped going to the gym or doing something so productive and something so healthy and good for you and everything, you can pick it up whenever you want. I even managed to film in the gym, so I'm really proud of that. And too often, I am way too harsh on me and my life, and, oh God, making the right tits of this. Too often I'm too harsh on me and my life and what I do and how I operate and who I am. I am terrible to myself. So sometimes I do need to appreciate little wins. Little wins are still wins, right? Oh, every time. 1 minute we've got Adele playing. To be fair, I do listen to Adele in the gym. I know I do. I like it. Anyway, that camera's not going to sit there. But yeah, filmed in the gym, did really well. Just feeling super proud. I've done a thing. I've really done a thing. And even still, it's only 3 o'clock, and that is literally what I'm playing. But literally, it's 3 o'clock. I mean, I can't even remember what time that last clip was. I'm sure it was 2:15. So, yeah, don't be afraid to just dive back into something. Honestly, you've not lost where you were. You'll just pick back up. I've been to the gym now, I was going to say twice this week, but one of them was last week. No, I went twice last week. So I went twice last week and then once this week, and that has been me restarting the gym. And even when I get home and look in the mirror, I'm like, wow, it is all still, I still look like me. I still feel like me. So, yeah. Sometimes you just need a reminder. Just be brave. Just do it. Go and do the thing that you're not doing but you know you should. It's hard. It's so hard. But it's so worth it. And on that note, it's time to head home, eat, drink, and plan my day tomorrow. Because don't forget, planning work and organising work is still work. It just doesn't feel like that's what makes the money. But you can't make the money without the organisation and all the back end. So that's me. I'm out. And if I can leave you guys with one thing, just be brave. Just one time. Yeah, you've got this. Adios.